everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Dee Dee Wills, and I'm here with my very good friend, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Hello. We haven't done a Facebook Live. I haven't done one in feels like forever. So I was talking with Mary, and we were talking about all this professional development that's happening this summer.
Mhm.
And we decided this is a perfect time to get together and chat and catch up and do all the things. So, yay, you're here. So, if you guys
Yay.
can hear me, just go ahead and put a little, hey, I see you, I hear you in the chat. I am hoping that we are going live. Looks like some people are hopping on now. So that is fantastic. But I'm always worried that I am not going live when I should be going live or vice versa. Looks like a few people are hopping
I
on.
checked it on my phone for you because I know that you're always worried about it. And you do so much better with technology than you give yourself credit for. So I had it ready, just so you know. That's how much I know you.
I know. So I also think we might be doing live on YouTube. That was something I've been trying to work on, but I'm going to go ahead. I'll check later. But if you're somebody who's not a real Facebook person, then you probably aren't on right now. But that would be an option. Hopefully, as soon as I get the technology figured out, that'll be something that I plan to do. So, how are you, Mary?
I'm good. How are you, Dee Dee?
I'm great. Now you're done with school. Times how many days?
So, weeks. We're in weeks now because I'm down south. I'm in Georgia. So we actually finished a little less than a month ago.
Oh,
And well, listen, I got the email today that my floors are done. So I get to go back in and put the room back together.
oh my gosh, that is really good. So you'll have
Yeah.
a little bit of time, so you don't have to go in and just hammer it out. You can kind of go in and go out, and not have that whole all-nighter kind of thing.
Well, and this is a really big blessing. So the teachers who aren't out of school yet, I know this makes you want to vomit,
Yeah.
but the teachers who are out of school, you know what this is like when all your possessions are in the hallway, and they give us the option. If we want to go assemble our room back, we can. If we don't want to, we just let them know, and they kind of put it back together. I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna let you guess what kind of person you think I am.
I know. I was just at a conference with Matt Halpern, who we love and adore, and I sat in his session, and he doesn't decorate his classroom at all before. He leaves it completely ready, and the students do it. And he talks about how they're going to make that classroom their space, and I love that idea. But I'm kind of with you. Like I'm like, oh, I have to have everything kind of organized, and I'm sure he has it all organized. I'm sure because he seems like an organized guy. But anyhow, I like to have it all, matchy matchy because it makes
Yes.
my heart happy. So
And I love Matt too, but I'm not that way either, Dee Dee. Like I am the you, but here's the thing I love about Matt. He is so unique to
yes,
who he is and he owns it. And I love hearing the differences because it really helps me as a teacher. If everything's not done,
it's gonna be
it's
okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, he's his heart is such pure gold. You know that he is from a spot where he,
Mm-hmm.
truly does make that their own classrooms. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's pretty exciting. So Peggy's in southern Minnesota, and it's toasty there. And then Amy is here from Pennsylvania, and your rooms are almost done. That kind of makes you
Yeah.
feel kind of good that at least you know that you can get in there if you need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to think about classroom rearranging and all of that stuff. Looks like my sun's starting to go down. It's starting to get darker here. Actually, it doesn't really go down, but it sets, so my room gets darker as the evening goes on.
Yeah.
Susan, you're here from Arizona. Super glad you're here. If anybody else is listening, let us know where you are. Let us know, are you done with school? Are you still, in it? And if you're in it, I'm gonna send you like positive vibes for
Oh
sure.
yeah. And they're gonna be not liking this conversation now, but then listen, I'm gonna say it in August 1st, when I already have my sweet babies and my roster in my room, you're gonna be still sitting by the pool. So it's gonna balance it out. Yes.
Your time now.
Yes.
So that's yeah. We all work the same hours, don't we?
Yes.
It just is scheduled different a little bit. And Susan, you're doing summer school. Oh, bless your
Bless your
heart. You
soul.
are a
Bless your soul.
saint. You are a saint, especially in Arizona. Because I
Yeah.
would imagine if you're in like Tucson area, I know that like northern Arizona is cooler, but if you're down in the southern part, it gets pretty hot. So, but I'm sure you guys are used to it. So.
So I think this is funny too, because I've lived in Pennsylvania and I've lived in Arizona.
Oh my God.
So, Peggy, I haven't lived in Minnesota. I'm sorry.
Gotta go there next. Ooh, somebody's getting carpets tomorrow. You get on Monday, not sure if you're gonna, yeah. Somebody's kind of nice to like to see. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys are here. Hi, Jody. Hi, Lisa. Super glad you guys are here. So you're in, Susan, you're in the northern part of Arizona, which I think is gorgeous.
Looking at too.
It is absolutely gorgeous. So, yay for you. So, Mary and I were talking about professional development. There's a lot of different opportunities this summer where you don't even have to leave your home. Greg has his Elevate conference, his one conference that's out there. You have a really cool conference that you're getting ready to do. Now, you've done this a few summers now. Is it 3 summers or 4 summers?
I think boot camp is on summer number 5, but it's at least 4 because it started off as an email series. Yeah. And when everything went virtual, we really, really got to stretch it out. So this is my 2nd summer of kindergarten boot camp with the video series. Oh, but I think it's it's 4 or 5. I really just haven't had time to go back and check. But essentially, and you know this, Dee Dee, if you have not taught kindergarten, it's a different world. And, there are PDs. I always say if a PD is labeled K through 5, almost nothing is for kindergarten, right?
Yes.
It just doesn't apply. And even a K through 2 conference has so much good stuff in it, but there's sometimes things that only other kindergarten teachers kind of get. And I was seeing a really big difference between teachers who were coming from upper grades to 5th grade to kindergarten, just kind of getting lost and just needing someone to say, hey, listen, I'm going to be your BFF for the next 2 days, and I'm going to tell you everything I know. Right, exactly. And just the things that nobody else can tell you besides a kindergarten teacher. So we kind of built this kindergarten boot camp. And then what I realized is at writing it all out, teachers wanted to see examples, which I get because I know how visual you are. I am definitely a visual person. So I used to add all these videos in there, and then it just got to be too much. They were like, I need to find this. So we just organized it in one platform that everybody could get to and access. And it really how you make something and it's a labor of love, and then you realize, oh, it really does help other people. That's what this was.
That feels good. Yeah. Well, I'm really excited about what you've put together because somebody had mentioned the Educator Summit, which is something that I put together and you're part of, and I'm blessed that you said yes again. Oh, she's got her shirt on. But that is, I guess it's sort of an aerial view, right? So you get to hear, lots of different perspectives, lots of theory, lots of content, some really amazing speakers.
Absolutely.
But you also are going to have people who, one, might be brand new to kindergarten, right? They might be brand new. Maybe they taught 3rd grade, 4th grade, and they're coming down and they're a little anxious. And they need to have a great mentor. And not everybody has a mentor in the building that they're going to. Maybe the person left, or, they're really not, willing to share ideas, or maybe your team is so overwhelmed that you're thinking, you know what, we're going to get the new girl this boot camp so that we can, we follow you, and we know, we trust you, Mary. And so this might be an option for that as well. Or if maybe last year wasn't, you taught kindergarten, maybe your 2nd year, and you're like, that was wild. Maybe there's a way for me to do it. Then, this might be something for you. But kind of tell everybody, I'm going to drop a link so people can find out where that is. I'm going to try to do that without disconnecting everybody.
I love it. Well, and the truth is that I love kindergarten so much. I really want everybody else to love it too.
Yeah.
And I remember people would give me these aha moments teaching, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. I've been doing it so much harder than what it had to be. So I have this right here, and it might show up flip for you guys. I'll see in a minute because I'm watching this. Good. And so what I literally did was I polled thousands of kindergarten teachers and said, what do you need? Now, here's the blessing here. If one of these areas you're strong in, you don't have to watch that segment. You can just go to what you need. But this is a lot. I know this is a lot. But we literally laid it all out in case you're one of those teachers who doesn't have another teacher of your grade level with you, or that does something totally different. So literally every single thing possible, we laid it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was on purpose. Like I did phonics and then phonics beyond the ABCs. And a lot of teachers say they like that because right now they just want to do letters and sounds and they're not ready for anything else. And then after they master that, where do they go? Same with number sense. Like number sense is kind of our meat for math. What do you do after that? So we kind of broke that apart so that just so teachers could even hone in right now on just what they need. And then I got super crazy because, again, I want everybody to love it. I keep seeing on social media, kindergarten teachers trying to buy a bunch of stuff right now. Yeah. And I'm like, listen, I get it. Like, I want to be organized. And so I literally made a video of what all kindergarten teachers need to do now through pre-planning, just to go through what you need to do now. And it's not buy a lot of stuff. It's let's see what you already have in your classroom. Right. Let's make a list of the things you think you're going to need, different things like that. And then I even made another video that's just meet the teacher. Because, like, do you remember your first meet the teacher?
Yeah. I was terrified.
They didn't think I was the teacher.
Yeah.
Like, they kept going to, like, a parent, talking to the parent. And she's like, I'm not the teacher. That woman over there is. I'm not joking. It was horrible. And then nobody believed that I was, old enough to teach. And they literally, one of the gentlemen asked me for my teaching certificate.
Get older. I'm just telling you. It's a good thing to have. But yeah, I mean, for sure. There's so much, that a lot of stuff that you need, Susan, you said is your banned from Amazon. I know, the Amazon driver, he's here almost every day. And and I try to have them package it all together, but they still show up from different vendors, so they come at different times. But anyhow, you do get kind of overwhelmed with thinking about the stuff. Where I think this is a good time of year to think about your path less of the stuff, because once you get in your classroom and you see what's been left, if you're brand new to the grade, sometimes you have things that are left for you. Sometimes you have things where you're like, okay, Mary was talking about this type of activity. I could, take this other materials that I have in my classroom and use it. It may not be exactly the, cute this and that you would hope you want. Your kids are going to love it. And
so, one of the things I tell everybody is if you get stuff left in your classroom, organize it by topic and make a list of what it is. And if you haven't used it by the end of that year, one whole cycle of your curriculum, pull it back out. See if you can plug it in somewhere. And if you can't or you don't need it,
I need to come to my house, okay? Because I need that to be done in my closet. I need that to be done in my basement. I need that, right? I mean, it's true. I think there are teachers who are collectors, aka hoarders, but I probably fall under that category. I collect a lot of things, and then sometimes when that happens, you can't see what you really need because of all the stuff, right? I mean, I ordered the other day a book that I already have. I know I have it. I can't find it. It could be anywhere. And so I had to order it again. So, oh my gosh. Susan, you feel me, right? I actually had ordered not the other day, but maybe like 2 weeks ago. I went through and I realized I had a couple of picture books that were the same. And I was like, oh, I'll be that aunt. So I sent a package to Texas to my nieces. So they were like, this is amazing. I'm like, okay, I have this plan. But instead I had, double sets of books. So anyhow,
no, I completely agree. And I just think I remember, still even to this day, the night before school starts, I have horrible dreams if I sleep at all. So literally we just have a segment that is what you're going to do the first day of school. Like I walk you through every single thing, just like our goals, feed them, get them home. If you do that, you're fine. But just the common stuff, because it's like no one tells you. And then when you hear it, it makes so much sense. So that's the entire goal of the boot camp. It's literally just to make sure that you have all the things you need so that you can be successful, regardless of what your curriculum is.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
the
even go
younger,
through a whole calendar. Like I literally go in my classroom and I go through, like, it's ridiculous. I go through my entire calendar to show you what I do at calendar time
oh
because
my
you
gosh,
don't know.
right, right. And one of the things that I love about the teaching profession is you can, I want to say this, but I want to say it in a nice way. You can steal people's ideas, right? And then just make them your own, right? So
You
you may
should.
be thinking, okay, I don't know anything about how to do calendars. I'm going to watch Mary, and then I'm going to base it on what she says. And then over time, you're going to find little tips and tricks that work perfectly for your classroom. So you'll start off with like a base, right?
Right.
And then you'll go from there to make it your own. So somebody had said to me, or maybe I read it somewhere, I don't know. But somebody had said that, like, it's the art of teaching is different than the profession of teaching, right? So we
Mhm.
learn how to be a teacher, and we are practitioners for a while. We're trying things out. Hi, Ozzy. I
Hmm.
felt something on my backside. It was my dog. Um, and we try it out, and then over the years you then add your flair to it, so then you become the artist behind the classroom, and that's when it really gets fun. Not to say that it's not fun the first couple of years, but every year you will probably not change, you probably will not teach the same way you did the previous year.
Right.
But if you find that you may want to think about how you can grow professionally so that you are constantly um, kind of leveling up, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Just like doctors go to professional development, and you don't want to go to the dentist to learn how to be a dentist, and
Right.
in you know in the 80s, and now he's still doing the same. We want him to have the latest technology. Same thing with teachers. So um, Magda said the best thing she did was observe several teachers and got ideas and added to my own. That is such a great suggestion, because within your own building, you're going
Mhm.
to have people who have been there, done that.
Yeah.
And so we used to try. Oh my gosh, Ozzy, he's like nibbling on my hand. We used to try to have times when we would go in and watch a classroom. Usually, we did that as part of an RTI process. So if a student
Right.
wasn't progressing, we would do some kid watching. Because it's nice to get another set of eyes on an issue. Okay. And when you're there watching the kids, you also observe these other things, and you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
ooh, I love that. Ooh, I love that. So that's always a great suggestion.
Mm. And I think with COVID right now, we are at bare minimum, like staff
Okay.
wise, and we are treading water. I mean, like I am in there doing it every day. So I know, like, if I even get a planning some days, like I don't have time to go observe anybody else.
Right.
It's just,
Right.
we're kind of out of that season. But
Yeah.
you know what? Our souls still need that. They still need to
Yeah.
go get rejuvenated because you get bored doing the same thing. And if you're bored, your kids are going to get bored. So
Yeah.
that's one of the big things that, oh yeah, they're saying in the comments too. Like, I feel like with COVID, we were more closed off from our peers because
Yeah.
we had to be.
Right.
But we can open the door in other avenues, and we need that. Like, I need the camaraderie to know that. This example, this year was awful. It really wasn't that bad for me. The year before, was that bad for me. But
Yeah.
like, I need somebody to say something that helped them this year. What is good? What is going to get me through?
Yeah.
Um, so it does help a lot. And then hopefully this next year we can get in each other's classrooms a little bit more because teachers need that.
Hi, Randy. Randy's a real life friend. Like, I know her in real life.
Oh,
So anyhow, I love seeing her. Hi, Hannah. Hannah says, yeah, she's definitely feeling that also. She's getting ready to year 3 of kindergarten, already have different ideas. I love that, and I don't know why I feel like kindergarten's the most creative grade. It's probably not. But I always feel like, you have almost like this, palette. Like, kindergartners will go with anything that you are excited about. Like, you're like, we're going to talk about rocks, yay! And they're like, yay! So they get
yes.
excited about what you get excited about. So I love that. We have lots of opportunities to kind of, get them excited about things. I have this picture of me telling my students that it was not my class; it was a class I was visiting. But I'm like, we're going to talk about setting goals, and they were like, so excited,
Yes.
and it was like, okay, yeah.
Those are my dogs. Sorry.
Is that your dog? Oh my gosh, we're gonna get some. No, he's laying down on the floor.
Well, I have earplugs in, like earbuds on purpose. But yes, I have beagles, so they have a very beagly bark. I'm sorry.
It's their job. It's their job. So, Kristen, you said you're really looking forward to the sixth shift, the science of reading.
Yes.
And you're adding some classroom lessons in year 23. Yeah, I mean, we are always just constantly, learning new things. And, even though I have been studying the science of reading pretty heavily for like the last 3 years, I'll still pick up something and I'm like, I didn't know that, like just a small little change. So that's really fun.
And Dee Dee, I feel like the more I master the little things that take up a lot of time, like the transitions, going to the bathroom, the little things, the more in my brain I can focus on the meat and potatoes. Does that make sense? Like I can actually focus on the science of reading. But I really feel like, and I this is me saying this, for the first 3 years, it was literally figuring out how to teach. And now that I feel like I have my structure, my routine, all those transitions together, now when I read something like Science of Reading, I'm doing a fresh look at phonics right now. And I read it last summer, but I'm reading it again this summer. And I'm like, yes, this. Okay, this. And now I'm like, I can integrate it here, here, and here. But I get the first few year teachers, like, you're not doing a bad job, teachers. Like I'm saying, me too. Like I was there doing that, but it's going to get easier. It's going to get so much better.
Kristen's saying that she is taking their online class and that it's even better. I heard you. Yeah, you definitely go into a deep dive. I love that they have agreed to do a session for the conference. So we have that. I'm super pumped about that. I was going to say something along the lines of what you were talking about, but you were talking about kind of almost the mechanics of the classroom, like how we do things. How do we do transitions? How do we do all of these things? And there's like a million of them, of things you're like, I don't really have to teach that. And you're like, yeah, you do. But those are the things that those are the things that wake up, right? Those, I mean, I think in the classroom management, things like that are the things that are like that constant, now part. Dog that is barking. Oh, now my dogs are going to go figure out what that bark is. They're like,
I'm getting my kid to come get him. They're fighting over a bone.
You know what? It's going to be like that video. Do you remember that viral video where the man was there talking on like a Zoom call on TV, and then like the mom got the kid out? That's what it's going to be like. But yeah, that management of like and those are the things that just kind of suck the life out of your joy in the classroom when you feel like you get to the end of the day and all you've done is manage the classroom. You didn't really get a chance to teach. And if I understand what you're saying, your boot camp is going to kind of do a shortcut, right? You're going to say, let me give you all my tips and tricks here so that you can take those on and you can make that a lot better. So there's not going to be as much of like instructional best practice. Well, I know, I think you have that as well, right?
Well, some, but here's the thing. A lot of teachers are going to have set curriculum they have to use. So I don't want to come in and say, do this when you know they have to do that. And we talk about that all the time. It's just a struggle. But I can say, like, I know I literally took, I was making a session for Elevate. I was trying to remember which one. And I was doing a fresh look at phonics or whatever. And I literally have to go through the session ahead of time. So I recorded it to see how I did. And then I literally put that recording in Bootcamp because I could. So it talks about that stuff too. But I want to tell you what I did wrong and what I did right and what really works, because you need to know what never to do, what might work for you, and then what definitely worked for me, because that's how you're going to go through your list. You're going to acquire this tool belt of things. And when you have enough tools in there, because this year this might work, but keep this other idea for next year, because this might work for next year too.
Yeah.
And we're just facing really different students right now. I mean, really, really different students than even 2 years ago. So it's nice to have all those tools in that tool belt. But then when you kind of master those things and you get to really good PD, you're going to be able to integrate that better. That's what I'm seeing in my own teaching career.
Right. I'm just popping a couple things up here that really made me think. Lisa's just got her first 4 units of letters, which is no joke. That's a lot of training. And
Wow.
then you're ready to start your last 4. So you're really, really excited about that. And then
Yeah.
what Magda said about you go to these workshops or you read books and you're like, oh, I'm already doing that. I just didn't know that's what that was called. And that's really one of those validating experiences, I guess is the word for it. So that
Mhm.
makes it, you see it, or for me, what I would see was like, I'm doing this, but if I just added this, it would be really effective, right?
No.
I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but if I added 6 and 7 or got rid of 4 and put, just mix it up, just like tweaks, then all of a sudden I turn something that may have been okay to something that's really good.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing I want to talk about, if you're a new teacher and you're getting ready to go into kindergarten, um, a lot of us will go on social media. I'm not in the classroom full time now. Mary is, but a
Mhm.
lot of them will go through and say, "Oh my gosh, kindergarten is a dream," and it is a dream, but it's not always a dream. And there will be days.
Mhm.
You know,
There
I
will be
taught for
days.
I taught for a long time, and there were days when Mrs. Wills, what are you doing in the closet? And I'm in there like dabbing my eyes because I am so overwhelmed. And
Mhm.
even my last year. And so I think that, we have, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, but I think that we have just, I mean, everybody talks about how social media is everybody's highlight reel, right?
Mhm.
You look at the background, if you look here, you're like, oh my gosh, Dee Dee is such a neat person. Y'all, if you could see what's over here that you can't see, so if you saw the complete, I guess the deal is if you saw the complete picture,
Yeah.
um,
We're not Pinterest perfect,
no,
and that's okay.
yeah,
Like I 100% agree, because there are days, like if I compare me, which I'm going into my 18th year, to who I was my first year, I'm so proud of the progress I made. Was
yeah,
I a good teacher my first year? Yes. Am I still a good teacher? Yes. Now, I'm a veteran teacher now because I have all these years of experience. But
right,
listen, guys, my classroom is not going to be 100% for Meet the Teacher or the first day of school. It's not going to happen. I'm okay with that. So I'm giving everybody permission to shove a bunch of crap into the closet that no parent's going to see. And guess what? It's going to be fine. Nobody knows what you have in your brain that's going to be perfect. Those kids care if you're excited to see them, if you feed them and get them home that first day, and they want to know that you love them.
yeah.
And if you did those things, it really is a
If
success.
nobody got lost, it's a win.
We are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I agree. Like we always want to be perfect. And listen, I never put my charts on Pinterest. You know why? I always spell a word wrong. Always. My kindergarten kids don't care how to spell photosynthesis. I don't really care, but Pinterest cares. So I don't put my stuff on there because I don't
oh
want to
my
hear it.
God. You know what's funny? You say that. One time I had a picture that I put up on my blog, like legitimately, it was up there for a year and a half before somebody said, you spelled this word wrong. And I was like, no, I didn't know. And it was like an easy word. It wasn't even like photosynthesis. It was like a word I should know, right? So, oh my goodness
You're
sake.
focusing on the kids and what you're teaching, and
Yeah,
you're over here writing on a chart. And guess what? It's okay. Everything's like it's this
yeah,
is like, so I don't ever want people to think like there are not moments, just like you said, that I'm not overwhelmed. And
right.
it's because we care so much, which is really a good thing. But sometimes I do have to shut the door and say, guess what? Those lesson plans went down in a flame of glory. So we're
Right.
going to take a hot minute. We're going to get this back together, and it's going to be okay. And nobody has to know.
You know what? I want to say again what Aaron Wills, no relation to me. He's an author who wrote this amazing ABC book. I've shared it on my social media. It's absolutely adorable. It's like this mixed up ABC. But I love that he said sometimes the dream is a nightmare, but those are usually temporary. So that
Mhm.
is 100% true. I mean, and I had seen somebody else say that your biggest problem in life sometimes is somebody else's like dream, right? So like your biggest overwhelm is really what other people aspire to. I guess it's just being kind of grateful for the moment that you're in and that know that Matt calls them first world problems. You're
Yeah.
frustrated because something's happening, and yet, when we look at the scope of humanity, your frustration is somebody else's dream. So,
It is true. No, and I think it's really good to put it in perspective. And I also don't think that teachers are saying this to other teachers enough. So I just want teachers to know that on my best day teaching, I'm still imperfect.
yeah,
And you know what? On my worst day teaching, I still love my kids and I'm still really trying hard. That's
yeah.
okay.
Was listening to this podcast. It was about regret. And it wasn't about teaching. It was a different kind of overall subject, but how he was talking about how regret is an okay thing to visit, right? So you had a lesson that didn't go as planned. Um, you regret the direction it went, or you regret the book you chose, or you regret the words you used. And maybe that's not the right word to use in teaching, but you realize, whew, that went wrong, right? And I think what this guy was talking about is that it is good to sit with that for a moment and say what went well, what didn't go
Mhm.
well, and then forgive yourself so that you can move forward, right?
Yeah.
You have to examine those moments and be reflective, but you also have to give yourself grace because
Yes.
you're juggling a lot of things, and those are those learning opportunities. Students make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. But you can't let those become the
They
thing
don't
that drives
define
you.
you. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't define you. I agree. So yeah, I've really, and I love us talking about this because, like I said, I don't think it's talked about enough. And I did see Aaron's book, just so he knows. I did shout it out on my digital deal page because it's so stinking cute.
it's
So
so
Aaron, I
cute.
got you. I got you. You have things out there that can help you when you're ready to get there.
Yeah,
And I love the digital stuff because it really is something you can do at the pool, something you can do driving down the road, going on vacation. All of those little things that if you are, and I'm a doer too, that's my brain. If you need something to do before you buy something, learn something so that you are a better teacher down the road because it'll save you money,
yeah,
right? And,
right,
and it'll save you a big headache. So those are the
right.
things that I really think are smart for teachers.
Yeah. And the digital format is also one of those things where sometimes I don't know I need it until I need it. Like you're like, I have a plan for this thing, so I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna maybe take notes. I'm not gonna do,
Yeah.
and then later on, you're like in your classroom, you're like, what was that she said? That was the trick. I need to go back and watch that. So
Yes.
that's the beauty of. I
Yes.
love the in person. I love seeing people. I love speaking in front of like real life people that I can you know
Yes. Look at.
yeah. And we could go to lunch and all that stuff. But there's only so much that people can absorb while you're talking.
And we know because we get the follow-up questions.
Yeah,
For months after a conference, I'll get 2 or 3 questions a day. "Hey, remind me what you said about this. Hey, what
yeah,
was this thing?" And I love that because that's what I need too. But the great thing about this digital format is you can go back and rewatch it,
yeah.
and it does help. And I know a lot of times, like with your webinar series you just did, that I loved. You know I did. Listen,
Oh,
guys, I would send Dee Dee notes. I would listen to it on the weekend, and I would send her notes.
she's like, you
And
need to
she
put this slide again. You need to go do this because that was something that you need to.
I was
And
like, make that a printable. We need to print that out. And
you
she
put
was so
that
sweet
out.
about it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's hard. It's hard sometimes with the pre-recorded because you don't get the feedback right in the chat part of it. But at the same
yeah.
time, you presented on these subjects a lot, and so
Mhm.
you know the follow-up questions that you get
Yeah.
when you're doing it live. So you can make sure that you include those
Yeah.
and not leave those out. So that's
Yeah.
wonderful. So tell everybody what you're going to be talking about. Do you remember at the Educator Summit?
I do because I recorded it last week.
Nice.
Okay. So here's the funny thing. I am that teacher who has my list. I literally make my to-do list and I literally have dates and all these things. I put these completely unrealistic expectations next to myself. It is ridiculous, but that is who I am. So literally I had everything scheduled out and then something with my kids, everything
Yeah,
is crazy.
all
I
the
have
things.
2 kids. Yeah. You heard my dogs. I mean, life happens. So anyway, I literally recorded it last week. Mine is science and social studies integration.
Perfect.
So, and it's just, we in my county specifically, we don't always get to science and social studies. Like, I don't know about you, but like my first year teaching, I was phonics heavy. My second year teaching, I picked up way more math. My third year teaching, I tried to smush it all together. And then after that, I was like, oh, maybe I should teach them some science and social studies.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm alone in that. Like when I talk to other teachers, they're like, okay, I did that too. But one of the things I learned along the way is, hey, P.S., don't do it all separate. If you do it all separate, when push comes to shove, you're going to chop science and social studies off. So how do you integrate those so when you lose time, you still get to teach those things?
That content in there. I love that. We are, what, a few days away, right? We have like
6 days.
7 days. It starts on Monday, a week from yesterday. And we're loading all the videos up now, and it's very, really, really excited.
And I do love this conference. I love the experts you pull in. I think that sets this conference apart from a lot, because you literally have the people who wrote the books and did the research. I think that's huge. Behind the scenes, that's what I tell Dee Dee. I was like, oh my gosh, Dee Dee, that's exactly what I need. I tell her I need the experts. I need the people like me who are in the classrooms. And then I tell Dee Dee this too. I need the people in between, like you, Dee Dee, who can bridge all that stuff, because I don't always have time to get there. So for me, that is the pinnacle of the summit, is having those three things connecting. That helps me as a teacher. And that's why this is, every year I'm like, girl, if you're going to let me be a part of it, I'm going to do it.
Well, I'm really grateful that you said yes, because I know your plate is way full. So I'm very grateful that you said yes. I am, Wiley Blevins sessions is like 3.5 hours long.
I'll watch it 5 times.
I know. I'm like, he can just talk all day. That's fine. He literally wrote the book on phonics instruction
many times.
That's really great. And then, the 2 ladies who wrote the 6 shifts are also providing a session. And, Kim Bearden, who is just...
She lives down the road from me. Do you know that?
Huh?
She lives down the road from me.
You go down and like knock on her door?
No, I don't think she wants to see me. but
she's the kindest person.
I do. But that's like stalkerish. I think that would make her uncomfortable. Like I'm gonna bridge this gap between me and Kim naturally. I'm gonna wait till I run into her, at the Kroger. That's our grocery store.
She's so gracious.
Oh,
so we're really lucky that she's going to give us a nice way to start it off and get everybody kind of excited.
Yes.
And then we have, originally I said like 30 hours of PD, but I think it's a lot longer. We're adding it all up, so we will get a grand total. As we're getting the videos in, we have to add them all up and then add them to so we'll add the hours to the brochure that's downloadable. And then it'll be on the certificate as well. So, yay! So we're going to get all of those as I get the rest of it. I still need 2 videos. I need 2 videos still. So we're...
For me, baby.
It's not you. So we're good. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining Mary and I. We certainly love that you took the time to hang out with us. We loved hanging out with you. Again, I'm going to drop Mary's link in there so that you can, I can do this. I really can. So that boot camp is open. The kindergarten boot camp is open right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Yes, it's open, and you can choose if you want access for 3 months or a year.
Okay.
And that's just because teachers asked for those 2 options. So those 2 options are there.
Okay, cool. And then you're going to have a digital one as well.
Yes.
What are you going to learn in the digital? What's that?
Okay. It is literally for people like you who think they're not good at technology, but they're really just fine at it. It literally came about last year when COVID hit 2 years ago, when teachers were like, make kindergarten boot camp digital. And so I did that. And we literally took every digital topic. I literally asked teachers, I think it was hundreds of teachers what they needed. And they literally told me every format, every platform, everything that they needed. And we literally made a video for everything.
Okay.
So, and literally it is, I have the thing here too.
Okay, good.
It is Techie Basics, PDF 101, breaking down Seesaw. So like 3 videos on Seesaw.
Okay.
About 5 sessions on Google. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous, but it's been built up over time. All these interactive ones, how to make interactive classrooms, ESGI. We have a whole section on new techie stuff we're doing. And then this is all of our old stuff about teaching virtually. It's ridiculous, Dee Dee, like completely ridiculous. But there are some teachers who are still teaching digitally.
I know.
And so I didn't want to discard any of that. So that's just extra material that we kept there so that if anybody was teaching digital, they could have access to it. So we've done this. This is the 3rd summer for this one. It opens July 1st. And it is, I'm glad. Yes, this is bread and butter for you. I'm telling you, everything you need. And literally, it is just full of everything that the teachers said they needed with technology. I literally walk you through it.
You know, one of the things that I had heard some teachers having to do this year was if they had like inclement weather, if they had snow days, they still had to teach virtually. So even though we hope that we will never have the need for virtual teaching because of illness, we still may have it because of weather. You know, I imagine some weather people wouldn't have internet, so that wouldn't actually work. But for some like snow days that maybe aren't, you know, catastrophic, there might be some schools who are asking for that. So I thought that was kind of interesting that maybe, you know, maybe that is something, you know, we don't want it, but it may be here to stay, right?
Well, but I do love that for teachers too, because that means they're not getting days stacked on the end of the year when they run out of those inclement weather days. So I do think that there is a fine line between really smart and really not smart. But and we had all that material ready. So it's one of those things that even if it helps 5 people, I want you to have that option. And then we're going to have kids who do get quarantined still. We're still going to have kids that go on other health impaired and different things like that. So just leaving that there. But it's just something. And, you know, I love technology. I want everybody else to love technology.
I don't love it. I love you. So that's okay. I don't love technology, but I love you. But it is one of those things where when you start to realize all of the tools that are out there, you understand the possibilities. So maybe, you know, I don't want to do a virtual, you know, lesson, but I could teach a virtual lesson that students in the classroom could follow along when they're working independently, right? So you can find some application, even though it may not be teaching across, you know, town. It might be just across the room where you can give some students some additional instruction by recording something for them. So I love that you're going to have that in there as well. When does the technology thing open up?
Digital Bootcamp starts July 1st.
Okay.
And there's 3 months in a year as well. And that is, again, just me going through everything in the little brochures. I'm literally walk you through every step. Teachers tell me that same teachers will sign up for it year after year. And they say they love the fact that a real kindergarten teacher is telling them how they use it in the classroom. And that's what separates it from a lot of other things. So that's what teachers tell me constantly, because not only do I explain what I'm doing, I explain why I'm doing this specific thing, or there's 2 different ways to do it. This is what works better in the classroom. So, so that's why it's there. And I want people to get everything they can from it, because literally like boom cards. I know you love boom cards,
I do.
but didn't it make sense when somebody just showed you how to make them?
Oh,
and then you were like,
that's not too bad. I can do that myself. Yeah. I mean, sometimes what you need, you can just whip up together yourself. You can make those yourself, right? Instead of having to buy something. The teachers have to buy it. But sometimes
or if it's a specific thing.
This particular skill, and I don't want to pay whatever for it. You can just make it. So, and your kids will love it. They will love having your voice on there and all of that as well. So
let me tell you a side note real quick.
Okay.
Everly, my youngest, never knew it was me on the recording. Her teacher's like, whose voice is that? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, it's your mama's. And she was like, nah. She's like, It was the funniest thing. And so she brings it into me and she goes, is this you talking to me? And I was like, it is. She was like, how did you get your voice on the computer? It was, sorry, side note.
That's so funny.
That literally
happened. Talk about like kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have, you know, your voice on there talking to your students. So I love that.
Yeah. I twang.
All right, my love. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a great evening. I am going to lay this down here that I'm going to do another Facebook Live next Tuesday. I'm going to try to make it a Tuesday thing as long as I'm in town. So if you enjoyed this and you have a topic you would like me to talk about or a guest you would like me to drag on, please. Oh, Edme, I'm so glad you're here. But we're about done. You can come back and watch it. But if there's a topic that you want to have me cover, or if we just want to chat, we always love that as well. Just let us
Yeah.
know. And you guys have a fantastic evening.